And it worked. You may be as shocked as I am that it actually worked. We'll put some sound in that next time so it does a little bit more flashy stuff. But right now, we're going to be happy for the progress. I'm Jay Cleveland Payne. This is Things You Might Not Have Heard for Friday, March the 3rd, 2023. And we're going to bring for you the latest in information, politics, current events, and pop culture, as in the latest as of what happened overnight and late into the evening, to tell you about it today so you can start talking about it on the start for your day, your morning coffee chat stuff going forward. As your news side piece since sometime last year, we like to provide for you lots of stories that do get missed in your main coverage. People don't read newspapers anymore. People don't get digest anymore. So we think we do a good job. We think we do a good job of providing for you many stories or many outlets that gives you a wide swath of things to talk about and know. If we're doing a great job, let us know. Presenting for you in just a moment 8 stories that were vetted from the top, from you guys, from the top 15 stories overnight or through past day, and pulled to give you the best narrative. We're going to go into that. Of course, big story breaking late, actually not so late, but taking over things was Alex Murdaugh. So we're going to start off with him, of course. But let's tell you about more things as well. Go to our main website. This is theconversationproject.com, so you can see all the things that we do at the Conversation Project behind the scenes. And also stop by our sponsorships and our partnerships page. We'll talk more about that because we're trying to fundraise to get a little bit more behind us coming soon. So we'll see all that happen, and here's of that as well. But first, let's get into the first story of the morning. Oops, looks like we forgot to, sorry about that. We checked the slides and did not go back to the original slide. So back to me, back to you, back to me. So much for progress. One thing works, one thing else doesn't. First story of the morning is jury finds Alex Murdaugh guilty in murders of wife and son. This was breaking news that I just sort of happened to check my phone and found that the verdict came in. They went into the jury room around 3 in the afternoon and came out around 6 in the evening and were basically done with this whole thing. Less than 3 hours, essentially, to find Alex Murdaugh guilty in the murders of his wife and son. Guilty on all accounts. 4 counts, I believe, for the total counts that he was in for. Now, what happened for this? Alex Murdaugh was in some financial troubles. He was having troubles with drugs, and then allegedly killed his wife and kid to maybe get some of the heat off the drugs and the financial stuff. After having all the lies he told put out there for everyone to see, and then just hearing him talk, the jury essentially thought he, was a liar. In fact, one juror that was kicked off the case was kicked off for sending messages to people saying that we all think he's a liar. Didn't take very much to find out that they thought he was a liar, and he is now going to jail. Sentencing is actually today, so it's that quick. He was the verdict came in yesterday night. The sentencing should happen today. We should know by the end of the day what Mr. Murdaugh's life will be like going forward. Let's move on to story number 2. Maybe not quite as dramatic, or maybe even more dramatic, however you take it. Real Housewives of Atlanta stars Drew Sidora and Ralph Pittman filed for divorce. They are featured on Real Housewives of Atlanta. They filed for divorce. Pittman also revealed his split with Sidora in a statement to People magazine, because famous people have to tell people they're breaking up. That's what happens. Pittman filed for a divorce on Monday, citing a marriage that's irreconcilable, broken. That's what happens with those things, and has no receivable hope of reconciliation. Pittman is requesting joint physical and legal custody of his children with Sidora, as well as final decisions-making authority on the children's academics and medical care. He is also pushing back against payment of alimony for Sidora. Now, one of the weird things about these things, these Real Housewives shows, is that most of these people, they exist, so they are live and they're real, but they're very far from housewives and essentially just rich models married to hopefully rich people, or rich people who are models who are married to guys that just sort of hang on the sidelines. There's not much housewifing going on as they're throwing wine on each other and slapping each other in the face. That is a bit cliche, but it's not too far off. We will hope for the well-being of the children, because that's what we always hope for. We hope for both Sidora and Pittman to have better lives going forward. My guess is Sidora will probably still be on Housewives for a while because they get divorced and they stick around for some reason as well. I don't understand the rules of housewife etiquette. It just goes beyond me. What I do understand is Joni Mitchell is awesome. You don't know what you got till she's gone. She ain't gone yet, but we're trying to show what we got. Joni Mitchell honored with Gershwin Prize at tribute concert. She actually performed Summertime from Georgie and Bess at the All-Star event, which had so many people out there. I wish I had the full article pulled up so I had all list of people who performed for the event. Belinda Carlisle was there. That's the one that the robot editor told us about. She sang Joni Mitchell's Smile, and everybody essentially showed much love, many flowers, and a big old prize for Joni Mitchell, who everybody loves. It's like Oprah, Joni Mitchell, and my friend Becky Rogers. Everybody loves those people. You can't hate them people because they're always good people. Our next story. American Cancer Society finds more young people diagnosed with colon cancer. So, March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, and it's probably no surprise that this report's coming out right now. A recent study came out from the American Cancer Society saying that more young people are coming down with conditions for colon cancer, and more people are being diagnosed with advanced stage diseases when they do. What does that mean? More screenings. Screenings starting at 45, maybe earlier if you are in that risk area. Being careful about this and basically just knowing more about cancers in general and colorectal cancer in particular. It's a serious disease that is extremely treatable if caught early, but if you have any symptoms, have any signs, make sure you go and get checked up. Go to the link for this article, which goes to a link to cancer.org for more details on colorectal cancer. Duke and Duchess of Sussex, yes, that's Harry and Meghan, asked to vacate UK home Frogmore Cottage. Now, if you remember Frogmore Cottage from way back when the Duke and Duchess were actually staying there, they asked for a big wad of cash to fix it up because, it wasn't up to snuff. Maybe you can get a Meghan for that one because it wasn't quite Americanized for her. They had a bunch of money paid, about $3 million of British tax money paid in full, 2.4 million pounds. And then they went to California. And so after that, the Sussexes, hard to say that one, they did pay the money back and, they did all that stuff. But they're being asked to basically give up the house because it's public property of the British states. And the Duchess and Duke are now not so much Duchess and Duke, but Dude and Dudette who live in California. We're going to see how this thing plays out. By the way, Buckingham Palace has nothing to say about this, which is weird. They're calling it a family matter. U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein in hospital with shingles. Very simple story. The 89-year-old senator is in the hospital, diagnosed with shingles in February, and has missed about a dozen votes and 2 committee hearings since her illness. And she's the only senator right now who's missing anything particularly, only Democrat missing anything particularly due to health issues. Yes, there is the senator from Pennsylvania, Fetterman, who is dealing with his issues, but he's not missed any actual work from this. He's dealing with some issues, but no actual work as far as you can tell. So we missed for this one. Feinstein has been, and particularly this one with shingles. Now, we know that she's not running for re-election, so her seat is open, and a lot of people who were friends seem to be looking to take that seat to carry on her legacy or build their own. So we'll see how that plays out in about a year or so. But right now, we are sending out love and prayers to Dianne Feinstein just for her recovery as a person, because she's a person that at 89, there's a lot of wisdom we can use from her, even if she's not on her seat in Congress every single day. Next story. Chicago Police Chief, U.S. Attorney resign after Mayor Lori Lightfoot loses re-election. Make sure you got that comment between it. The Chicago Police Chief and a U.S. Attorney resign after Lori Lightfoot has lost her re-election. She lost because there's now a runoff for 2 other guys. She came in 3rd, so she's cut off from that one. That being John LaShurst Jr. He's the head of U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago. He resigned effective March 11. Also, police chief is resigning as well. It seems like a rats leaving a sinking ship type deal. It's probably a bit more complicated. I'm not all into the politics of Chicago, but I do know that there's a lot of layers to Chicago politics, and a lot of people tend to buddy up or bail at certain times. This seems like the right time to go for these folks right here, both the Attorney General, the U.S. Attorney, I should say, not Attorney General, U.S. Attorney Losh, and the police chief saying Johnson, who's saying that time has basically come. And there's an interesting one. A new Easter Island statue found in volcano's crater dry lake. Now, this is something that may just be for me. But Easter Island, that really, really tiny island with those big statue heads, has about 1,000 of those heads roaming around. And about 400 of them are actually sitting in volcano beds. They found a new one, which is much smaller than the normal ones you see in the pictures. But all the stuff, all the markings, all the trimmings are essentially, as are the rest of them, looking just like those famous heads that are on Easter Island. A new one found that will be put somewhere soon, I guess, on Easter Island. Let's move on to our teaser story for the weekend. Will we talk about this come Monday? That comes up to you. If you decide that this story is worth chatting up, you just engage in it over the weekend or maybe very, very early on Monday, and we'll talk about it. Here is the actual headline. Girls high school basketball team forfeits game instead of playing against transgender player. This story has been going around a bit. Sometimes it takes a while for stories to really kind of migrate and take up that steam, and this one has been for a while. So we may talk about this story come Monday if it's one you want to talk about. Now, the transgender sports scene in high schools is extremely complicated and extremely uncomplicated. The reality is, there are actually very few transgender players in high school sports, relatively, based on a number of overall athletes. So there's not as many of these things happening as the media may lead you to believe. But they're happening, and they are kind of serious. If you deem this one pretty serious, go to our feeds on Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/this is a conversation project, and twitter.com/th_conversation. Engage in the stories. Like them, love them, hate them, share them. The more you engage in story, the better chance we have to talk about it. It's going to be a couple of breaks here because now I've got the hiccups, and so I'm trying to work between them, if you will. Thank you very much. Come Monday, we'll provide for you 10 news stories from the top 30 stories of the weekend, because we have 3 full days to give you that one so it not be too long. We'll take care of that. So check out our feeds on Facebook and Twitter and see all you can see. Now, let's talk about money for a moment. And this is money for us, but it's money for us to help keep things going, and it's done in our sponsorships part. So stop by this is the conversationproject.com/sponsors and visit our many sponsors, or visit today's main sponsor, the Chess Store. It is found at this is the conversationproject.com/the Chess Store. Sorry for the hiccup. The Chess Store. And get your chess supplies today. Various beautiful chess sets and various easy to travel with plastic sets that don't look like cheap crap. There are great chess sets. So check it out. At this is the conversationproject.com/the Chess Store. Sets made of wood, of metal, of glass, all sorts of great chess sets for you there. Find it at this is the conversationproject.com/the Chess Store, and go to our sponsors page to see more of our sponsors. Being ravaged by hiccups is quite a deal, so we're going to slide through this as quickly as possible. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, and we're early, so we have a lot of time to have fun today. If I can get past those dreaded hiccups, okay. So this is conversationproject.com. I guess this is a cue to talk less about this one. This is our main website. Go to our main website and find out more about us and what we do, the various different shows we produce, the various different way we produce the show right here, and other ways that we have to communicate, including the TikTok. Got a bit about the Alex Murdaugh and other things on TikTok yesterday, and people responded well to that. Find us there for quick news on social media. Also, YouTube Shorts as well. Trying to figure out some Instagram stuff. There's only so many things we do in a day. So find more about what we do at thisisaconversationproject.com. What are we going to do about right now? We're going to suffer through some hiccups and do the today things you might not have heard. Starting off with March 3rd, birthdays. Tone Loc and played the masterful role in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, 57 years old on the day. Also giving out flowers and chocolates and candies, all she wants, to Julie Bowen, star of many things, including Modern Family, at 53 years old today. And what's really hard to believe is in that same age range, David Faustino, 49 years old on the day, of course, did a bunch of stuff, does a bunch of stuff. He's still in the business, but more famous on screen as Bud from Married with Children. Sometimes you can't give up a role. And even though Syndication doesn't work quite as well as it does because everything's streaming. You can stream Married with Children right now anytime you want to. Bud or David Faustino will always be remembered as the slacker son of Alan Peg Bundy and, of course, Kelly Bundy's little brother. And Seven's little brother, although Seven obviously disappeared after 2 seasons, born and then was 7, and then all of a sudden they decided he wasn't cute enough. We're doing Pam, not sure. Cold Cuts Day. There are plenty of things today to celebrate on the day. You could choose from these things such as, the screen pops up, Employee Appreciation Day, I Want You to Be Happy Day, Day of Unplugging, and Moscow Mule Day. But maybe a good Moscow Mule goes with cold cuts. It's actually also Canadian Bacon Day, which is a cold cut, so there you go. Go get you a sandwich. Get you a nice sandwich. You can go ahead and heat it up. Go ahead and, toast it because that's fine. Get you some salami. Get you some bologna. Get you some capicola. Get you some, gabagool, and enjoy yourself a good cold cuts day today. Today would be the day that we add it into the history. So I got some comments that the history thing was great, so we're going to do more, even with our hiccups today. Apologies for all those who had to see that. 1949, the first automatic street light was installed in New Milford, Connecticut. So the first time you could hear "Be Home Before the Streetlights Came On" happened today in 1949 in New Milford, Connecticut. A thing that this generation just does not understand. Be home before the streetlights come on because they don't leave the house. Period. In 1953, the Academy Awards were first broadcast on television. NBC was the host of that broadcast. And back in 2007, doctors in China announced they had discovered a woman who had washed the family's clothes while sleepwalking. She'd been doing it for about 10 years. For a decade, she'd get up in the middle of the night and do laundry. How she was able to separate the clothes so well, who knows? It's a mystery. But it'd be amazing if some people, if I could, sleepwalk and get work done, that would be amazing. The biggest issue is actually going to sleep. Stopping going to sleep is my big issue. Finally, one more thing you might have heard. Science found another way to ruin we're going to back that up because we're going to cut this out and put this on the TikTok, and the hiccups are just not working. So let's try this again. This time with feeling. And finally, one more thing you might not have heard. Science found another way to ruin everyone's morning. Your coffee cup has all kinds of unspeakable horrors. Like we didn't know that. A University of Arizona researcher found 90% of office coffee mugs are covered in germs. Like we didn't know that. Including fecal bacteria. That we probably didn't know. A big problem is that at the office, most people tend to clean their cups with bacteria-laden sponges or scrub brushes instead of a dishwasher. That bacteria transfers to the mug and can live there for days. The lesson here, take your office mug home with you and dishwasher it clean. Now, sidebar, my assistant at work hides my coffee cups. I have 3 coffee cups that go in rotation, basically because I showed up one day with 3 coffee cups in case I couldn't find one since I lose my glasses and my coffee cups. She basically hides them, and only one of them is visible at a time because she will take them and soak them and put them in another room where I can't find them, literally, because I've never washed my coffee cup. I admit it. I'm the guy. And I'm done because I can't get past these hiccups, so we're going to get over this pretty quickly. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today. Hopefully you'll stick around with us for more things coming in the weekend. And, of course, come Monday when we give you this show again with the weekend kind of fodder into it. Make sure you are staying hydrated, staying on task, and staying limber for all the grand things that you are meant to do in the world and other things. We're posting news stories every 50 minutes on our feed, so watch them all weekend long. Chat me up in the comments of the video. Chat me up in the comments of the podcast. Chat me up online. Reply to the newsletter. Let me know what we can do better and what we should do less of because we're not doing so much great on stuff. And with that, we're going to hope that our little opening thing works again. because it worked magically the first time. We'll see you guys come Monday.